Hey folks, welcome back for more Let's Play the Pandora Directive. If you recalled, we pretty much explored everywhere in the first floor, and now it's time to take a look around the second floor.
Yeah, this door's sealed shut because of contamination.
Sealed shut, huh?
It's a toxic waste bin.
We can open that
It's a toxic...
and close it. Now, let's see.
I'm sure there's no contamination in the... I gotta find a way into these hot zones without getting killed.
Indeed you do. Because every other room on level 2 is contaminated.
Yeah, this door's sealed shut.
Computer science room. There's the elevator.
It's another security card reader. Probably for the elevator.
Metallurgy lab.
I gotta find a way into these hot zones without
Misspelled
getting killed.
metallurgy lab.
I gotta find a...
Supposed to be 2 L's in that. They spell it right on the other side of the door. But you can tell, look at this. We get a reactor room. The metallurgy lab. With only 1 L, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Computer science. Biolab. The linguistics lab. The elevator. And this room. That's the only room that we can get into from here. So.
A security card scanner.
Indeed. And we happen to have 1 Roswell ID badge that will allow us to use it. This ID badge does not work on the elevator, or else this would be a much more simple level. But now we are in basically a conference room, a war room.
TVs were probably installed so the brass wouldn't miss their favorite soaps.
Well, okay.
These photos are either dead aliens or my sister's kids. These photos are either...
Can I take them now? Thank you. We'll take a look. Alien with part of his brain exposed, I assume.
Desks are in perfect shape.
This room has not seen the ravages that went on outside.
Chairs are attached right to the floor.
On the first floor, anyway. But there are a couple things we need from in here. One's over here.
Several top secret military documents.
We will look at those in a second. And strangely enough...
Well, what do we got here? Looks like a remote control for a toy.
And indeed it is.
You know, this seems pretty simple to operate. Turn it on and steer. If I want to pick something up, get the crosshairs on the object and get it. Easy as falling down.
Maybe. So, let's take that. Where is it? There it is. And now we have a live abductor with the remote.
Well, it looks like this baby's ready to go.
Indeed it is. And we will use that in a second, believe it or not. Given a hint with this little cue.
This is the play button.
Colonel, we've placed the probe in the ventilation system on level 1. We've surveyed level 2 and it appears there are no survivors.
So we can put a probe in a ventilation system to survey level 2 from level 1. Well, that little thing right there works as a pretty good probe,
Reel-to-reel
actually.
tape player. These were popular before cassette decks took over. Everything in this room, including the projection screen, is still in great condition. That's a video projector.
Unfortunately, they didn't give us any video to pop in there and project. Seems like it would have been a pretty simple thing. Seems like it would have been a pretty necessary thing, too. Okay, maybe not necessary, but... you know, it would be nice if they would have given us a little video cutscene we could have viewed from here. But there is something we do need to examine. The top secret documents. Number 377, National Security Information, Top Secret. Eyes only copy, 1 of 1. Attention, President-elect Dwight David Eisenhower, 18 November 1952. Briefing Officer, Administrator Roscoe Hillenkoetter, MJ1. Warning, this is a top-secret eyes-only document containing information essential to the national security of the United States. Eyes-only access to the material herein is strictly limited to those possessing Ultra 7 level clearance. Operation Majestic 12 is a top-secret research and development intelligence operation responsible directly only to the President of the United States. Operations of the project are carried out under control of the Majestic 12 Group, which was established by special classified executive order of President Truman on 24 September 1947 upon recommendation by Dr. Vannevar Bush and Secretary James Forrestal. Members of the Majestic 12 Group were designated as follows: Admiral Roscoe H. Hillenkoetter, Dr. Vannevar Bush, Secretary James V. Forrestal, General Nathan F. Twining, General Hoyt S. Vandenberg, Dr. Detley Bronk, Dr. Jerome Hunsaker, Mr. Sidney W. Sowers, Mr. Gordon Gray, Dr. Donald Menzel, General Robert N. Montague, Dr. Lloyd V. Berkner. Death of Secretary Forrestal, 22 May 1949, created a vacancy until 1 October 1950, in which date General Walter B. Smith was named as permanent replacement. T-52 exempt E, top secret, eyes only copy, 1 of 1. A local rancher reported that a UFO had crashed in a remote region of New Mexico located approximately 75 miles northwest of Roswell Army Air Base. On 7 July 1947, a top-secret operation was begun to assure recovery of the wreckage of this object for scientific study. During the course of this operation, serial reconnaissance discovered that 4 small human-like beings had apparently ejected from the aircraft before it exploded. A special scientific team took charge of removing these bodies for study. The wreckage of the craft was also removed to several locations, were debriefed, and news reporters were given an effective cover story that the object had been a misguided weather research balloon. A covert analytical effort organized by by General Twining and Dr. Bush, acting on the direct orders of the President, resulted in a preliminary consensus 19 September 1947 that the disk was most likely a reconnaissance craft. This conclusion was based for the most part on the craft's size and identifiable provisioning. A similar analysis of the 4 dead occupants was assigned by Dr. Bronk. It was the tentative conclusion of this group, 30 September 1947, that although these creatures were human-like in appearance, the biological and evolutionary processes responsible for their development has apparently been quite different from those observed or postulated in Homo sapiens. Numerous examples of what appear to be a form of writing were found in the wreckage. Efforts to decipher these have remained largely unsuccessful. Top secret. Don't ask me why I decided to read that as it went by. I don't know either. But anyway, excuse me. Now, what we want to do is we want to examine those rooms for things like ID badges and all that useful information. Anything we could find whatsoever. To do that, I believe we can travel. We can't go to level 3 yet. We haven't opened it up. But we can go to level 1. We can go to the rec hall. Because we will be right next to the fan we want to use. Oh, there's the ventilation system. Remember how it said they sent a probe in? Well, here we go. First, we've got to stop that from spinning around. And what we happen to have is a free weight bar.
The weight bar stopped the fan dead in its tracks.
And now, we're going to enter a interesting little area. The ventilation systems. You might remember navigating through one in Tex Murphy 2 and the Martian Memorandum to access the casino vault. Only this time, we won't be going in ourselves. We will be sending in this thing in here. How it says press F1 for help on using the abductor.
I think I can get the abductor back through here.
Yes, you can. And here is the annoying thing. Every time you hover over anything that can be looked at and examined, text will talk about it after a second or two of you staying on target there. But we have a few commands. We have hover elevation, which moves us up and down. This activate the arm. It reaches out its arm and attempts to grab anything in its path, whether there's anything there or not. Direction control, we can go forward, we can go backward, we can turn right, we can turn left, the camera up, and camera down, and camera forward.
I think I can get the abductor back through here.
Camera forward just means it puts you back on the horizontal plane, so to speak. Power on and off will return you to text, so you can save the game and examine the any objects you grabbed in inventory. Well, the first thing we're going to do is have a whole lot of fun with this. Now, what we need to do now, and I've got a small map that I've drawn out after many hours spent combing through here. Well, hitting backwards, you see what happens if you hit backward there? Yeah. This is what happens if you hit the on-off switch. It takes you to this, and you can examine inventory. Which you won't need to do that until later. But you need to be careful. You can grab this little and do it this way. But you got to be very careful with the forward and backward controls, because it moves very, very, very quickly. He'll say this every time we get close to a sign.
At least there's some reference information in here.
Okay, now I'm looking for sign J11. Okay, there's J11. What we need to do is follow the path over here. In fact, I'm going to lower my hover elevation. I have a funny feeling I know what's going to happen. Once we get done there, we go all the way to the end of the shaft. You hear that humming? See those? We're going to have to avoid those in a second, but not until we get down to the second level of the facility. And this little arrow right here is the second level. And once again, it centers us. So now, okay, my hover elevation is down. Okay, what we need to do, hover elevation all the way, got here, because these fans, if you pass by them at the wrong times, they will clip and damage the abductor. Too much damage means the abductor stops working and it's a game over. So, I am going to save here, but this seems like a pretty good time to cut the video. When I come back, yes, increment file and save. When we come back, we will continue our trek through here, examining everything we need to, and hopefully I should get completely done with the this little crawl through the ventilation systems. So, hope to see you next time, folks. Take care, everyone.